Questions?
What's the status of David Solway? Do you expect to have him this weekend?
No, I don't. Unfortunately, I think he was playing with a concussion that was not diagnosed, and that's not about our staff. I think David was hiding something because he wanted to play so bad. And hiding's a strong word, yeah. But with senior night, it happened. There was a 5-minute penalty called on a kid from Northern Michigan on the Friday night. Saturday night was senior night. But the headaches just would not go away. He was not himself Friday at Michigan State, and that was enough, and probably overdue. So I'll take the blame for that, but that's where we are. And we felt like let's put this on the front burner so it wasn't all week long of is he going to play, is he not going to play. The mentality with our staff and from here, for as long as we're here, is if you don't practice, you won't play. And you have to be healthy to practice. We understand that, and David's not. So both he and Rule are in the same situation. I do think Rules is a fairly serious matter that we need to stay on top of, and we're going to. But neither one of them I expect to practice and be available for this weekend.
If you were to win this weekend, do you expect to have him next week?
I think Solway is more of a possibility than Ian. But I think they'd both be up in the air.
Anybody else on the
injury? No.
You talk about this past weekend against Michigan State and how you feel that may affect the team moving forward into the playoffs.
Well, unfortunately, I think it's going to affect us negatively because I don't think we had a whole lot of fight this past weekend. I think Michigan State showed some spurts at times, but we did not fight back at all, and that was disappointing. I thought Friday night was the worst game of the two. Saturday there was a couple of different times where I thought we seemed to have a little momentum going or a little bit of fight, but ultimately looking back over a body of work on a weekend, I don't think it was us at all. And is that a result of what's gone on to this point in the season? It could very well be. If that's an indication of what we're going to get at Northern Michigan, it's going to be a very short playoff stint. If we get back to fighting and playing the game the way we want to play it, then we should go up to Northern with as much confidence that this team can have against any other team in our league. We're 2-2 against them. Basically, we've won up there. They're a team that I think we match up with pretty well. So if we can get back to what we've been, more consistently before last weekend, then I think we're going to give ourselves a great chance. If we play the way we played last weekend, we won't.
Do you do anything differently to get back to that, or is it the same approach that you've taken all season long?
It was the same approach. I think we're being a little more conscious of not leaving our best effort in practice this week. Our practices are not going to be long. They're still going to have high expectations, and it wasn't a good practice today. The people's heads weren't in it. And again, I think when you've got a losing situation, and that's all you're used to, they look at practice instead of being what it should be in a preparation for the game. They look at, well, it's easy today. Well, no. It's not leave your mind at the door. It's be ready, be focused, be sharp, and let's get something accomplished. Let's improve in a half hour versus an hour. And that's what winning teams do. It's what winning programs do, and we struggle with that. And today was another example. It wasn't a good practice. We didn't improve today because we weren't into it mentally. And this time of the year, to me, that's where you're making as many or more improvements as the mental side than the physical side. Because if you don't have it now physically, well, you'll never get it. We're in shape. We're physically ready to go. We have to be into it mentally, and we weren't that today.
Do you feel like seeing Northern Michigan for the second time in 3 weeks is an advantage for the team, though?
Not an advantage, no. I think because they have the same advantages we do. I think that for a team that has struggled winning games, this matchup is as good as we could ask for. This is a team that we've had success against, like I said. So that's the advantage part if you look at it that way. But they've had success against us also. And it's still not an easy trip to get to Northern. It's long. I expect us to be ready to go Friday night. I expect it to be a good series. I really do. hopefully that's the case.
Why has there, you guys match up well with them? Why is it that you seem to have more success with them?
You know, that's a good question. I'm not sure. I think you know, I don't know. I think the efforts have been good. You know, the Friday night up there, we outshot them. Both nights here, we outshot them. They don't have one line that blows the doors off anybody, and we have to really be careful of. We have to be careful of all their lines. So I don't know if that's what it is. I don't know if before I got here, you know, you just have, you know, you play well against certain teams and not well against others. Maybe that was the case before I got here. I don't know. I haven't dug much into that. But the focus on this year, we've been all right, and I think, you know, when you go guy for guy, we match up okay from goaltender out. So I don't know. I can't put my finger on it, but it's just the results are what they are, and we've matched up well, and hopefully that continues.
What does the loss to David mean this weekend?
Well, I think it means, you know, it means a lot. I mean, you know, there's a potential that his college career could be over, and on a note where he has no control over that means a lot to me. You know, he is the glue that's kept this team together, and obviously, you know, not to have him available is difficult. But I feel as much for David as I do for the team. I mean, I know how bad he wants to play and kind of finish on his terms, so to speak, and be a part of the potential to move forward and not be finished. And you know, he's going to have no control over that not playing. So I feel, you know, I'm disappointed for our team because it's, you know, it's to be nice to have him in there, but I'm disappointed for David as well.
Is he 20 to 25 minutes a game? Is that how much?
You know, Kevin, I don't even know that. I think he's involved in everything. You know, he's obviously a key part of our penalty kill unit. He's been a 5-on-5 contributor, and he's on the power play and has been all year. So I would say that's about right, but I haven't paid a whole lot of attention to that number in terms of where he fits into that.
You've mentioned how the losing's kind of taken its toll over the last couple of weeks. But now with the playoffs starting, they use the cliche, everybody's 0-0, you're starting over. Is that something that can help you guys?
I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope so. It didn't help us today.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
It didn't help us today. Today was a practice that looked like a team that looked at what their record was and focused on their record, the regular season record, because we are 0-0. We are going to a playoff series that's 2 out of 3. And that's what it is. No one cares how we got here. This is where we are. And this is a team that if we're going to feel confident, I don't know how we can feel more confident than what we would against Northern Michigan. But we practice like it's taken its toll. So I hope not. I hope the guys can put that 0-0 thing in their mind and believe it. But I have question with that because of today's performance. Does David Solway have something to do with that? I don't know. With him not being around, I don't know, because it does now put the spotlight on somebody else to step up and lead the way. And that, hey, we're fine. We're right where we need to be, playing against a team that we can play with. So I don't know.
You mentioned you need someone to step up. Earlier in the year, you felt like in the locker room there wasn't that one person capable of stepping up and leading. Has that opinion changed since we last discussed this issue back in December, or are you still struggling to find leaders?
Still struggling, especially with Solway out. He's the closest thing we have, and to have him not part of it, because you know, he's not going to be able to lead the way, not putting the gear on playing. So absolutely struggling.
Do you expect him to travel? Will you travel?
That's up for discussion. That's a good question. I mean, it's up for discussion. I don't know. I haven't talked to David about it. You know, I think his presence is a good one, is a positive one. So would I expect him to travel? You know, possibly.
Do you want him to travel?
I would like him to travel, but there's more to it. You know, I don't want to put him in 16 hours on the bus there and back is not easy. And if physically it's not something he should do, and he should be relaxing and you know, in his house and stuff, then that's what he'll do. If it's totally wide open to whatever, then him and I will have a discussion. We'll work something out.
Can you talk about how not scoring goals affects the way you guys play the game? I mean, just kind of,
Yeah, it's there's just so many factors to not scoring goals. And we haven't bought into that.
Yeah.
We haven't bought into the rules that the more shots you take on net, the better chances are that you're going to score. Our guys just don't want to buy into that. And the reason I say that is because we miss the net more than any team I've ever been around. For a team that struggles to put shots on net, you'd think every shot would be focused to hit the net, and we've been saying it all year long, and that we've seen no change in that. The Northern Michigan weekend here was probably the most consistent over 2 nights where we were focused on putting shots on the other team's net, and it was almost 2 wins. And ultimately, almost, I think it was 28 and 29 or something like that both nights. And then the other piece of that, Kevin, I think we spend way too much time in our own zone. And how are you supposed to score goals when you can't get the puck out of your own end because the small hockey plays that you need to make to be good defensively as a team, we struggle to make all the time. And it's to me, it's black and white. It's so easy to see it. No wonder you can't score. No wonder you don't have a lot of offensive zone time when you're spending a good number of your minutes trying to get the puck out of your own zone. And we've really struggled with that. I look back, I think at 2-0 against Princeton at Christmas time, you're thinking, we can score goals. We had 5 goals against Huntsville. We had this, and it just went away. It just went away. And last in the league in power play, last in the league in shots on goal per game. It's disheartening because these are things that we've been talking about since the beginning of the season, that we're going to make a difference. And they've made a difference, all right, just negative.
what about from the standpoint when you go out there, you're going to have to hold an opponent to probably 1 or 2?
I mean, honestly, I don't think of it that way.
Uh-huh.
But if you do, absolutely. That puts a lot of pressure on the goaltenders, on the defensemen in particular, on your defensive play, your defensive zone play. And we're not great at that yet either. Now, we don't give up a lot of goals, with the exception of the 5-1 game against Notre Dame. I think Lake Superior got 4 on us this first night, but we handed them the one at the end there. So we don't give up a whole lot, but when you're at 1 goal a game, as you said, you can't give up 2. Absolutely, that messes with your head. But I still think we're a team that can score 2-3 goals a game if we shoot the puck better, or if we pay more attention to the power play and take advantage of the opportunities we get, whether it's a 2-on-1 getting a shot or a 3-on-2 staying on side. We still want to shoot ourselves in the foot in those situations versus execute. So I still think we can score 3 or 4 goals a game. We go into Friday night's game thinking the exact same thing. I'm not thinking we better hold them to 1 goal because we can't score more than 1. I'm thinking our power play needs to be better. Let's score a couple, 3 goals in the power play. I believe there's going to be opportunities this weekend to execute around the opponent's net, to score. We're going to need to do that. But that's no different than any other night. And I don't see us being limited to 1 goal, regardless of what the stats say. Right. You said it yourself, right? We're all at 0 now. Yeah. The playoff stats are zeros.
Yeah. You mentioned that Northern's got, it's hard to concentrate on any of their lines. But Fox, I think, has 6 goals and 1 assist, and Florek has 1 goal and 5 assists.
Yeah, I mean, I looked at their lineup Saturday night against Michigan, and they put Fox, Brown, and Hansen together. In my experience, those are 3 guys that can hurt you in a playoff series. I've been on the losing end of a couple of series against Northern with those guys around. I don't know if their numbers are great this year, but those are very dangerous hockey players. I think Fox is a guy that if you hand him things like we have, he will take advantage of it. I like Florek. I think he's a good player. I think he plays the game the way I like it played. He's big. He's used his body, and he's had success against us. So we have to find a way. If he splits those guys up, which stays the Hansen, Brown, Fox, that's a really good line against any team and for any team. If Florek and Fox are together, we have to find a way to make them earn things. Not that they can't, but make them earn it and not give them things. I mean, this Saturday night against Northern, we turn the puck over to Floric. He takes one stride past the Fox backdoor goal. You know, we can't give them opportunities like that. That's the best way I can put it. Those are guys that can hurt you if you hand them things.
And then lastly, your goaltending plans for the weekend.
Yep. We'll have a goalie play both nights for sure. No, we haven't made that decision. You know, that's something that we'll talk about, and we're evaluating. And as of late, it's been Andrew's deal, and I don't think he's played in any way to remove himself from that situation. And Nick is still fighting and scratching for his opportunity. So I feel good about. I think we're going to give ourselves a great chance with whoever we play in net. And I think, you know, when you go player for player against a matchup like Northern Michigan, I like the goaltending matchup.
Any other questions? All right, thank you.